Hello everyone, hope you are doing great. Imagine yourself to be the most honest person on the earth, and your best friend, whom you know for many years, have shared a secret with you. And your friend got a promise from you that you will never share the secret with anyone. But few days after knowing the secret, you started feeling sick and wanted to share the secret with someone. How do you tell the secret out but still keep it a secret? Let me know your answers in the comment section. Here comes the story of a hero named Guna who handled a secret so beautifully. Are you all ready to dive into the story? A long time ago, in ancient India, there lived a king named Harsha. He was a very troubled king because he had to keep a great secret. You know what the secret was? His ears were looking exactly like donkey's ears. Every day, the king used to wear his crown pulled tightly over his donkey ears so that nobody would see his ears. But this became a big problem every time he needed a haircut. Once a month, the king will call for a servant to cut his hair, and then he throws the servant into the prison to make sure they keep his donkey ears a secret. Now, in King Harsha's kingdom, there was a young man named Guna. His dream was to become a famous hairstylist, but his mother did not approve. Guna's mother used to say, "You are my only son. What if our cruel king calls you one day to cut his hair? You would be sent to prison then." Guna's mother wanted him to become a great hero, so she never allowed him to pursue his dream. But Guna had a deep desire in his heart to become a famous hairstylist one day. Days passed on, and then on a fine day, a messenger from the king's court knocked at the door of Guna's house. And this time, Guna had been chosen to be the unfortunate servant to cut the king's hair. Hearing the news, his mother became very worried. She felt it wasn't fair that Guna should be sent to prison. She raced as fast as she could to the king's palace, but the guards would not let her go inside the palace to meet the king. So she knelt at the palace walls, weeping and wailing all day and all night. Her cries could be heard for miles around the palace, and the king's dogs whimpered at the sound. Eventually, King Harsha thought his eardrums would burst with her terrible screeches, and he went out to speak to Guna's mother. King Harsha went straight to Guna's mother and asked, "Why are you screaming and crying outside my palace? I haven't slept a wink all night." She pleaded with the king, "I am in despair because my son Guna is to cut your hair tomorrow. Please do not send him to prison. He is my only son. If you do not spare his life, I will stay here and weep for him for the rest of my life." Listening to Guna's mother, King Harsha was moved by her grief. Also, he could not imagine having to listen to her cries any longer. So, he promised to spare Guna's life on one condition. He said, "Your son must swear not to tell anybody what he sees when he cuts my hair. Not a word to anything with eyes or ears." Guna and his mother promised King Harsha to keep his secret. So, the next day, Guna went on to cut King Harsha's hair and was allowed to live. But after a few days, Guna became very sick. His mother was worried and asked him what was wrong. Guna said, "It's the king's secret, Ma. I can't think about anything else and I'm not at all able to sleep. Worst of all, I can't tell it to anybody." Listening to this, Guna's mother took him to see a priest. The priest listened to Guna's problem and said to him, "The cure is obvious. If you can't tell this terrible secret to anything with ears and eyes, you must tell it to an old oak tree." Guna felt relaxed with the priest's idea. Immediately, he went to a river nearby and whispered about King Harsha's secret to an old oak tree. He immediately felt much better. Guna and his mother went back home happily, and Guna is not feeling sick anymore. At this time, King Harsha's favorite musician was looking for a new drum. He had searched for one throughout the land, but he could not find any drums with a perfect sound. When the musician was walking by the river, he saw the old oak tree. He thought to himself, the wood of this tree would make a beautiful drum. And so, he cut a branch from the tree and made himself a beautiful drum. And that evening, the king ordered music after his grand banquet. The musician walked to the center of the hall with his new drums, and everyone remarked how beautiful it was. As soon as he played the first beat, the drum suddenly started talking all by itself. Dum 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 dum, King Harsha has donkey's ears. Dum 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 dum, King Harsha has donkey's ears. Dum 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 dum, King Harsha has donkey's ears. After hearing this, King Harsha became furious and jumped out of his throne in anger. As he jumped in a rage, his crown went tumbling off his head and fell to the floor with a crash. There was pin-drop silence in the room as the king's soft, furry donkey ears stood tall and proud for all the people to see. But very soon, King Harsha discovered that he felt much better now that his secret was out. And after some time, nobody took any notice of his ears. He realized that it really wasn't a big deal. He also realized there wasn't any point trying to keep a secret for such a long time. He felt happier and more relaxed than ever before. In fact, the whole kingdom became a happier place. Thanks to Guna, all the servants of the kingdom came out of the prison now. This made Guna a great hero, just as his mother had always wanted. Guna was delighted too because his own dream of becoming a famous hairstylist came true, because he was appointed as the royal hairstylist. Do you like the story? Keep enjoying until we meet you with another exciting story. Bye-bye.